What's up, YouTube and Wrestling Universe? I'm back with the results and review for WWE Extreme Rules pay-per-view, which took place July the 14th, 2019 from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on the WWE Network for only $9.99 or free to new subscribers. The pre-show begins with Kevin Owens arriving at the arena saying he has a match tonight. This was actually announced a little earlier today against Dolph Ziggler. Lacey Evans and Baron Corbin are in the back saying things are strictly professional, and they talk about what they're going to do tonight. Lacey says that there's no way Corbin will be smashing her teapot on Seth Rollins. The pre-show action is underway when Shinsuke Nakamura versus Finn Balor for the Intercontinental Championship. It's a pretty good short match, and we see Nakamura as the new Intercontinental Champion after a knee to the back of the neck, as the announcers say. However, it looked more like a knee to the back of the face. Match 2 was the Cruiserweight Championship on the line with Tony Nese versus Drew Gulak. Another good match with the Cruiserweight division that sees Drew Gulak wind up retaining. Walking through the back as the show begins is Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre as they start to show off with the Dead Dogs. Undertaker is definitely trying to prove himself after this last match and gets the "You Still Got It" chance. We later get Undertaker clearing off the announcer table with Shane on the ground. As Undertaker goes for a powerbomb through the table, Elias comes in with the guitar. Reigns goes after Elias and he's taken out with a Claymore kick. As Undertaker goes after Elias, we get another Claymore kick. Undertaker is placed on the table, and then Shane flies off with an elbow through the table. When we're back in the ring, there's no Roman in sight, and they set their sights on the Undertaker, setting him up for a trash can in the face with the coast to coast. As Shane is about to pin, Undertaker rises up. As McIntyre is getting ready to attack Undertaker from behind as he's going to end Shane, Roman Reigns makes the save. Undertaker winds up with a tombstone, and this makes him the new best in the world. It was a pretty good match, and I enjoyed it, which I don't say a lot about a Roman Reigns and a Shane McMahon match. We get Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins interviewed in the back. Guys, did you know Seth Rollins is Becky Lynch's boyfriend? Next up for the Raw Tag Team Championship, the Revival versus the Usos. A good tag team match with the Revival using those dirty heel tactics. Lots of back and forth between both teams, showing why they're two of the best teams WWE has. The match is also not that long that you get tired of it, but it also isn't that short. Things I noticed with the AEW tag team matches, they're mostly tornado style, which isn't what this was. The Revival thankfully hit the finisher and retained the championships. Next up is Cesaro versus Aleister Black. Not surprising, this was a hard-hitting match with great wrestling. Black hits a black mass out of nowhere for the win. We see Carmella and R-Truth in the back, hanging up wanted signs. Truth wants his baby back. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross walk up, and R-Truth asks them if they've seen Hornswoggle in the women's bathroom. Bliss winds up giving Nikki a present, and it's a Twisted Bliss coffee mug t-shirt. The Street Profits come up, and Cross and Bliss just confirmed the Coke Champions thing. Next is the SmackDown Women's Championship Handicap match, Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss versus Bayley. Bayley does pretty good against both women on her own, but eventually Bliss gains the advantage. We get a lot of tagging with both women wearing Bayley down. At one point, Bayley has both women in submissions at once, but Bliss gets free. Bliss is on the top, but she catches the knees. Cross comes off the top, but she also gets a knee to the face. Bayley then comes off the top with the elbow and retains by pinning Nikki Cross in another good match. Next up is the Last Man Standing match with Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley. The fight goes through the audience and heads to the back in the concessions area and then back into the audience towards the ring. Lashley runs at Braun with the shoulder and puts the table on top of him. Braun gets out, and as Lashley dives from the barricade, he throws Bobby into the international announcers table. Bobby Lashley makes it up at 8. Strowman hits a power slam from high up onto Bobby Lashley, and this causes them both to crash to the floor. We wind up getting ECW chants, and then as the referee gets to the 7 count, Braun Strowman busts through the wall, and Bobby Lashley is never seen again, giving Strowman the win. Charlie Caruso is in the back with the club and AJ Styles, and he says he's taking the championship and it'll be too sweet. Now don't you dare be sour. Anyone notice we went from being too sweet to not being sour? Anyhow, the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match is next. The New Day versus the Vegan World Order versus Heavy Machinery. Daniel Bryan sneaks a tag when everyone else is on the top rope. Big E superplexes Rowan, and Bryan climbs the top rope and lands, and then locks in the label lock, trying to get Big E to tap out. He ties him up to avoid him getting to the ropes. Big E catches Bryan on the shoulders, and then Xavier Woods comes in off the top rope and gives us new tag team champions. And this is where AOP should have come out to interfere. The New Day celebrate in the back, and Kayla comes up with a microphone. Paul Heyman shows up and takes the mic and then walks on the stage and claims Brock Lesnar will cash in tonight, but he may also be lying. Next up for the United States Championship, AJ Styles with the Club versus Ricochet. The Club attack Ricochet as he flips in his entrance before the match even begins, and then AJ makes them stop. The Club distracts Ricochet in the beginning when he gets the advantage, giving control back to AJ. Ricochet and Styles have a good back and forth match. Interference by the Club as expected gives AJ an advantage, and we get a Styles clash from the top rope to give us a new United States champion, proving that Ricochet didn't want none. Next is a match added earlier today, Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler. So Kevin Owens is basically the new Big Show with all these heel face turns, it seems. I honestly don't care that this was added to the card, but I assume Owens will get the win. We start with Dolph slapping Kevin Owens, we get a stunner, and it's over in a BS squash match, just when you think the whole show may be decent. Kevin Owens grabs the mic and says the same things he said before. Basically, Shane McMahon sucks. Next, Charlie is interviewing Samoa Joe before the SmackDown Championship match. Joe says Kofi's dream is about to become a nightmare. The match starts with Joe all over Kofi. Kofi does wind up getting a little offense later, but he asks if he hurt his hand after it was smashed into the ring steps. Joe is back on Kofi. Kofi goes for the Trouble in Paradise kick, and Joe reverses it into a clutch. Kofi tries using the corner to kick back, and Joe drops him and then lands into a senton. A few minutes later, Kofi actually gets the Trouble in Paradise kick to retain. Kofi pretty much got beat up the whole match, but Big E's going to wind up getting his threesome. Next up, the Raw Championships are on the line. Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. By the way, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Seth Rollins is Becky Lynch's boyfriend. Lacey Evans has Seth's name on her tights to mess with Becky. Lacey winds up bringing kendo sticks into play and tries to hit Seth Rollins, and then Becky comes in with her own stick and unleashes. Chairs are brought into the action by Corbin and Evans. Lacey Evans winds up getting a busted lip and blood on her teeth, looking like a nasty. Becky tags Seth in, but Corbin is laid out. Becky and Seth decide to get the tables. Corbin and Lacey avoid the tables and get the advantage again. Rollins is alone in the ring with both Corbin and Evans using kendo sticks. We get double choke slams on Seth and Becky. And there's a lot of teamwork in this match. WWE is clearly trying to show chemistry between their favorite real-life couple. Seth Rollins is Becky's real-life boyfriend, by the way. A couple of moves are done simultaneously by both teams. Corbin with the end of days on to Becky, and Seth Rollins begins going psycho on Corbin with the kendo sticks and chair. We get a curb stomp, a second curb stomp, and then a third curb stomp, and the champions retain. Brock Lesnar's music hits, and he's actually here tonight. Lesnar and Heyman come down with the briefcase, hit a few suplexes, and actually cashes in. We get an F5, a cover, and a new champion, the well-deserving Brock Lesnar. Of course, Heyman winds up getting Brock Lesnar the championship as soon as he gets the power on Raw. Well, guys, that was Extreme Rules. Not a bad show, I guess. Just a few moments where I'm like, why? Why make a Kevin Owens Dolph Ziggler match at the last minute and then not have it be an actual match? Pretty good matches overall, and honestly, more entertaining to me than AEW Fight for the Fallen was. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just me tired at that point, but I didn't enjoy Fight for the Fallen as much as the other AEW shows. Also, why Brock Lesnar? Most matches and winners went the way I expected. Also, don't see why New Day is still being shoved down our throats. They don't need the championships. Guys, that was the show, and while I would say it was predictable, it was definitely worth the watch. However, I don't really know of a standout match. Let me know if you've seen the show and if you enjoyed. What were your favorite and least favorite moments? Comments, feedbacks, thoughts, and opinions are always welcome, and thank you for being here.